Please welcome someone who has left her signature on this campus for centuries to come, artist Judy Baca.
Good afternoon, President Whitmore, distinguished members of the Cesar Chavez Memorial Committee, members of the UFW, members of the Cesar Chavez family, Dolores Huerta, distinguished colleagues and students of San Jose State, my co-workers from the Social and Public Art Resource Center, friends, fellow artists, family. Today is a wonderful day for all of us as we gather to celebrate the life of a great American hero. Cesar Chavez is not a hero that is best commemorated in a bronze statue on horseback or a disembodied bronze bust. He is a man whose life was about victories for the improvements of the lives of workers who feed a nation, those workers who plant, tend, and harvest the food that feeds us, while they at times cannot afford the same food they grow for others, suffer injuries in the field, and inhumane working conditions. How then could I, as an artist, build a monument to fit such a man? A monument that could serve as a sacred reminder of to the subsequent generations of the importance of living a life at the center of one's values and beliefs, as did Cesar Chavez. I must say, the challenge was daunting, but it was a challenge to dream of a memorial that could become a lasting vessel to carry the spirit of Cesar Chavez, whose triumphs were not over nations or people, but rather for humanity. This triumphant arch you see here today is modeled after arches that have celebrated great events and leaders around the world. But it has a very important difference. It is not a European arch, but rather a Mayan corbelled arch with Spanish colonial mission niches, referencing Chavez's mixed Spanish and indigenous, indeed mestizo roots. It is painted with pearlescent and gold reflective fresco to recall the early glistening missions of California, which were painted with whitewash and ground clamshells by indigenous people. On its face is the United Farm Workers symbol, the eagle, which is a source of light and reflections on the monument's broad shoulders of strength. And I acknowledge my fellow artist and designer Richard Chavez for that beautiful image. I just simply borrowed it, Richard. On the face of the monument is not the image of Chavez, but instead of those who he put first, those he served, the campesinos in the fields. They toil with short hoes as they bend in the fields. The image commemorates the abolishment of the short hoe. These images that you will see will be transformed into Byzantine tiles in the months that come as we complete the monument. Dolores Huerta, co-founder of the United Farm Workers and Chavez's partner in the movement's endeavors, stands in a moment of oration, with one hand evoking her powers to persuade growers to amend the unjust treatment of the farm workers, and with the other hand represents the power of nonviolent action through marches and boycotts. We hope that Dolores likes who she is. My only nervousness is her seeing her image. Mahatma Gandhi is also depicted in the fields. To honor him as Chavez's inspiration for the real possibility of social change through nonviolence and spiritual practice. The arch is placed on two intersecting circles, one circumscribed by the paths taken by small brown feet from ancient pre-Hispanic codices marching through grapevines. The circle represents the sun and the historic pilgrimages Chavez made during his marches with the people. The other is circumvented by the words of Chavez in 4 granite stones in the ground inscribed with his words as he encouraged others to take action for themselves. This represents the moon. The first stone begins with hope. Soon the grapes will be sweet once again, as Chavez looked forward to the ending of the long and difficult grape boycott, and then moving toward education, which is a preparation for action, ending with there is no such thing as defeat and nonviolence. The whole arch itself is a passageway from hope to education and finally to service for others, making symbolically the journey students will take through this university, reminding us of Chavez's words, surely the purpose of education should be to be of service to others. Inside of the arch is Cesar Chavez. He is depicted in hand-cut Byzantine tiles. In the interior of the arch, the central mural depicts a contemplative Chavez as a farm worker leader, an organizer, looking over the California fields where the historic grape strike took place, with farm workers represented metaphorically as twisted vines. Above, in a cloud, not yet here as it's still in progress, is Robert F. Kennedy, joining Chavez as he breaks a 25-day fast, accompanied by his wife Helen and his mother Juana. The image highlights fasting as a cornerstone to his philosophy of nonviolence. La Virgen de Guadalupe, the indigenous patron saint of Mexico and the revered symbol of the farm workers, blesses the struggle with roses. But lurking in the sky, a calaca, a skeleton, represents the ever-present need for vigilance to ensure decent conditions for workers and reminds us that the struggle is not over in the fields. This work in its making comes full circle as women workers in Mexico labor to cut glass for months and place it laboriously into the templates of my paintings. Many members of their families had left Mexico to come to the United States and work in the fields. They questioned and were eager to know about Cesar Chavez, nodding their heads in recognition as they dropped the glass in place. They said, Cesar Chavez worked for the people, and they understood. I would like to take a moment to make a special acknowledgement of those who helped me in this long journey, from 2003 till today, to make this work, because it is a work that is collaborative, with many people helping, many people putting money, many people putting hours, many people adding their part to the contribution. First, I have to begin with my mother. Hortensia is here today, and I want to say thank you, Mother, for your inspiration and your courage to stand up to adversity throughout your life and advocate for those weaker and for your love. Thank you for teaching me well. And thank you to all those who raised the money to make this possible. Because a great vision is not great without all the people behind it. And mostly I want to say, thank you for not tampering with the vision. It is so appreciated and so rare in this time. Not one word to change an idea. Thank you for that. You see, they practice what they preach. I'd like to acknowledge UCLA's support for my endeavors in the Cesar Chavez Digital Mural Lab at Spark, the Social and Public Art Resource Center, for giving me the lab to work in and the roof over my head in which to dream. My compañeros are here today, and I'd really like it if they would stand. I would like to see my whole artistic team stand as I acknowledge you. I would like particularly to acknowledge Farhad Akhmatov, my technical advisor and assistant, who believed, and stay standing, Farhad, you don't get to get off the hook that fast, who believed in my vision and understood it enough to help me build it first virtually and then literally. To Marta Ramirez Orepresa, whose pre-Hispanic insight and helpful hand was so needed in assisting me with the paintings, metaphors, and pre-Hispanic references. To Deborah Padilla from Spark for keeping the spark lit while I toiled in the fields of this project. To our wonderful architectural firm, Y Architecture, particularly Yo Hakamori, who helped me make the broad shoulders of the monument stand straight and not fall over. Yo Hakamori. Thank you. To Jose Antonio Aguirre for his support and work on the glass and tiles. And to Carlos for his dream to be a builder of monuments in the future. A young artist from our lab. He's probably behind the camera. There he is. And particularly to San Jose State University facilities, Tony Valenzuela, to John Skyberg, the people who were my daily contact in this process. I want to thank you for your generosity and your support. And in conclusion, I'd like to say it is my hope that this arch will offer an introspective and meditative space for viewers to receive its message. May all those passing through it experience the passage from hope and inspiration to education and finally to action for social justice and environmental justice. Thank you.